It's that time of year. Gabe comes calling with a plethora of great game deals. So I've put a list of games I really enjoyed that you can grab at a discount right now. These are new-ish games, not the old classics at a deep discount like Civ 6 or CK3. Those are stuff you already know. I want to tell you about the new games. These are mainly games released this year and some from 2024. So you could still call these new games. Okay, let's go! This is quite an underrated game I wish more people were talking about because Cataclismo does some rather brilliant things in the RTS genre. It is more of a stronghold-like RTS rather than a typical RTS, so you're defending against hordes of enemies. In Cataclismo, you aren't just plopping down structures, no, you are building the structures from scratch, block by block, piece by piece. Now, this might seem like a bit of a chore, and when I first played the game, it did feel a bit like busy work. But there are options for you to save certain designs as blueprints to just plop down in a single click. And there's also the option to download community-made blueprints, so Cataclismo now shouldn't be too much of a chore. I think it takes the best of survival RTS and mixes that with a building game where you are thinking about how you could make something the most efficient way possible with the least amount of resources, or building the most effective walls. It's also got a rather unique story set in an imaginative fantasy world. The campaign progression is pretty damn cool. You will be thrown new challenges as you progress. So you will have to rethink your strategies from time to time. It's not just rinse and repeat the same old thing, so do check out Cataclismo. Nordhold, not Nordhome, which I'm always confusing myself with. I think that's once a TV series. Anyway, Nordhold is a 2024 game that's a tower defense game, but it's also a roguelite tower defense game. It's not the deeper strategy game with deep mechanics that'll take you like hours to understand. It's not that type of game. It's a light strategy game that you can just jump in, play in for a while and jump out. Although I think you might play it more than just a while because it's so bloody addictive. You'll be obsessed with trying to build just enough towers to take out the oncoming wave, while figuring out what you should upgrade in your castle town to gain more resources. It has this interlinked thing where you're constantly figuring out should you focus on more towers or your town upgrades. You'll need to do both, but obviously you'll have to prioritize one of it at certain waves. And then when you are defeated, you gain these points that you can upgrade your units and abilities. These persist for the rest of your game. As I said, the roguelite persistent element. So things do get a bit easier over time, which motivates you to do better on each run. This is a highly addictive game, don't say I didn't warn you. This is a very new game I recently made a video about. If you're a fan of Empire Total War or Napoleon Total War, you like the idea of moving your line infantry tactically to outwit the enemy force, Master of Command is the game you want. It's not like a Total War though, I want to be clear. It doesn't have a grand campaign. Instead, you have this dynamic 3-act randomly generated campaign. There's a bit of a roguelite persistent element to it too. There's a lot of emphasis put on equipping your armies with better stuff, leveling up your officers, and then in battles making sure your troops are on good advantageous ground and the enemy is on bad terrain that has a penalty to their combat effectiveness. That's the key to Master of Command. I really like Master of Command a lot because it's something that's easy to pick up and play. I don't think it's super complicated, but it's a lot of fun. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think this is a good game for a quick play type of game because battles may take some time. So it's still a bit of a commitment, but not as crazy like a grognardy war game. Check this one out. We are not getting a new Command & Conquer game from EA, that's for sure. Tempest Rising is the next best thing to a new Command & Conquer sequel. Maybe it's the best modern CNC game, but I guess we'll never know since EA doesn't want to make a new CNC RTS anyway. Tempest Rising is not an easy RTS to play. No, the campaign missions are bloody challenging. It's fast-paced, it's explosive, and it's rockin' with kick-ass tunes. But I suppose the developer Slipgate Ironworks has updated the game to make it easier for new players, and they've even added super weapons lately. And also made the third faction playable, but I think that's still in beta. If you're looking for a new modern RTS with that classic vibe, polished single player campaign with great cutscenes, you can't go wrong with Tempest Rising. If you like the super fast paced speed, which actually the developers have also updated the game to give you options to play at a slower speed. If you're the type with low APMs and reaction times, or as old as me. See, these Tempest Rising devs, they really do listen to feedback and actually address them. Top marks for them. I'm eager to learn more about their plans for 2026. I'm sure we haven't heard the last about this game. Please give us a full-blown expansion, please. I miss a good old Tycoon game, and 2 Point Museum is as good as the great classic Tycoon or management games. I played 2 Point Hospital to death. That was excellent. 2 Point Campus just felt like it was retreading the same grounds. It was more like a change in theme, same mechanics and so on. So like many others, I did not play that game much. So for 2 Point Museum, the lads over at 2 Point Studios wanted to do something fresh for their 2 Point series. And this is not just a change in the thematic setting. This actually plays different in a lot of ways compared to 2 Point Hospital and Campus. You are building an exhibition and you are creating this experience from the start to the end of the exhibition. So the way you think about the satisfaction of your guests are a lot more different from previous games. 2 Point Museum is a genuine new 2 Point game that I'm sure if you love the humor of the previous game, this one will give you something really new. Endless Legend 2 is my personal pick for strategy game of the year. I know it's in early access, but it is a very polished early access. And quite possibly it will also be my 2026 strategy game of the year when they launch it in 1.0. That's how good it is. I really like how the tidefall mechanic, that's when the ocean recedes, makes exploration happen even later in the game, rather than just being an early game gameplay experience. And the fact that the ocean hides many very valuable resources, you'll have to rush out there to claim first dibs on them before the enemy factions when tidefall occurs. And wouldn't it be better if this was against other humans? Oh, guess what? Amplitude Studios just released an update that adds multiplayer to the game. So now you can rush for those resources against your friends. Of course, Amplitude Studios are also the masters of creating rather interesting factions in their games, genuinely really unique with unique gameplay mechanics for each of them, as well as their own storyline and quests. There's a lot to play and discover in Endless Legend 2, which currently has 4 factions, but the game will launch with an additional 2 more factions. This is a must-have for 4X fans. If you don't have this, what are you even doing? I like a good old Heroes of Might and Magic style game, and Songs of Conquest is one of the more original ones. It's not interested in just copying the classic formula of a turn-based strategy heroes game. It's bringing with it an old school inspired art style, a bunch of cool stories and campaigns, and a combat system that's not overly complex, but it still has something new and unique like raised tiles. City management isn't like in a home game, it feels a lot like a small colony builder. You are building on the actual map instead of a separate screen. There's a good amount of polish in the content they have produced. Even the DLCs have introduced some very cool factions. But that's not all. The developer of Songs of Conquest, Lava Potion, has also updated the game to add new tales, short story campaigns based on community feedback, and will produce a new DLC focused on a single player campaign or tale. This is another cool developer that's worth supporting because they listen to their community. Regardless, this is a fun game to get, discounted or otherwise. The Altars is not 100% a strategy game, I'll admit that. It's a bit of a hybrid. It has base building, resource management, exploration and survival elements. But most importantly, and why I think you should get this game, is that it has one of the most unique stories there is in a hybrid strategy game. If I made a video on great stories in strategy games, which I am thinking of making that video, this game would absolutely be on that video. The main character, Jan Dolsky, crash lands on this planet and he's the sole survivor. To survive, he will need to clone many versions of himself to get this whole base of operation working well. The conflict between the different Jan Dolskys, the different type of characters you create by picking a different life path memory for them, is brilliant. Great voice-over work and performance, by the way, from Elliot Jordan. This, I think, is a game you need to experience, even if the strategy elements might feel a bit clunky at times. A good thing is if you just want to experience the story without having to worry about survival and inventory management, they just updated the game with a relaxed mode. Excellent timing to get for this Steam Winter Sale. I liked Banished. I like survival city builders. I like crate entertainment, which made one of the best action RPG games, Grim Dawn. But Farthest Frontier is of course not an action RPG. It's a Banished-like survival city builder. It has seasons, so you're preparing for the brutal winter. Building structures take time, as your villagers will have to drag the resources and build it. Farming is quite in-depth. There is soil quality and different harvesting times and details for different crops. You will have to defend your settlement against raiders. You train different troop types. It's like the modern version of Banished I wished for. It's out in 1.0 recently and after a lengthy early access, so you'll get the best, most polished experience when you get it right now. For me, it's the perfect game to start off play and listen to some podcasts in the background. I'll be honest, I was not the biggest fan of Whiskerwood when I first played it. I felt the whole cat royals being jerks and taxing you more and more a bit impossible and annoying, frankly. But to the developers' credit, they have updated the game quite a bit, and the demo as well. I believe the demo is still up if you want to check it out. Yeah, it is. This is not just a colony builder, it is a production chain game. You could think of something like Timberborn, which is a game I've never played, perhaps I should. You are extracting raw materials and coming up with conveyor belts to create an automated production chain over this blocky, very hilly terrain, which can be a challenge and also part of the fun figuring out how you lay everything out on your very restricted island of choice. There's also that against the storm-like element with the whole cats taxing you every few days. It's not like Against the Storm, I just want to be clear, but there are some little touches that remind me of it. I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. It's got its hooks on me, those pesky cats, and I think Whiskerwood will be a brilliant game when it launches out on early access sometime next year. Okay, for my last recommendation, it's an old game technically, but a new release. There is no doubt Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War is one of the best RTS that ever existed. Especially if you're a Warhammer 40k fan, there is nothing close to it. Well, at least until Dawn of War 4 or Total War Warhammer 40,000 comes out. This is the best you're going to get for now, and there is a ton of content with all the expansions. So many gloriously morally grey factions with their own little flavor of base building and tactical playstyle. If you truly commit to finishing this entire collection of games, I think it's going to take you a while. Or maybe I'm just bad at them and you may be way better than me. Possible. But anyway, you've got it all. From a linear story campaign to a dynamic conquest mode campaign in the expansions. There's a lot of single player content here. And when that's over or you give up, you can go online and play with fellow humans or play with them in co-op. Relic is continuing to update this game, so expect this to be a popular game to play for years to come. I certainly hope so. That's my recommendation of new games you should get during this Steam winter sale. Great new strategy games at a lower price. If there's any strategy game you think is worth getting that is not in this video, new games mind you, do share them below in the comments. I genuinely would like to know your recommendations too, so recommend me some games. Now that you're done watching this video, go watch this other video here where I talk about the biggest news, the biggest flops and the biggest wins in strategy gaming this year. Thanks for watching and farewell noble friends.